the NewlyEyed game show. The game show that allows you to take a sneak peek into a colleague's point of view. And now your host, Stephanie Wu.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NewlyEyed game show. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Wu. The game show that we're doing today is modeled after the Newlywed Game, in which teams of two battle it out and see how well they know their partner. I will be asking questions to one person from each team, and then that person must predict what their partner would say. Then we will hear from their teammates and compare answers. Rounds 1 through 4 will be worth 5 points for every correct answer. Rounds 5 through 8 are worth 10 points, and round 9 is worth 15 points. Now, let's find out who our lucky contestants are. All of these contestants were handpicked by me because they are outstanding clinicians in the eye care field and absolute leaders in the eye industry. I am very lucky to call each of them my friends. Team 1 consists of Dr. Brujic, who is an optometrist from Premier Vision Group, a successful 4-location optometric practice in Northwest Ohio, and his teammate, Dr. Dave Kading, is an optometrist with 3 practices in Seattle, Washington. So Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kading, how did you guys meet and how long have you been friends?
We were actually set up on a blind date several years ago. It was 2004, and I had actually met his wife before I met him at an advisory board. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time, the majority of our professional careers.
And now we're going to introduce Team 2. We've got Dr. Elise Kramer, who is an optometrist and owns 2 practices in Miami, Florida, and her teammate, Dr. Maria Walker, an optometrist and PhD at the University of Houston. So Dr. Walker and Dr. Kramer, how did you meet and how long have you guys been friends?
Okay, so I think that we met I remember when we really bonded, which was at the International Specialist, I'm going to mess up the acronym, but in Washington, D.C., and we got our nails done together, but it was a meeting we both presented at, and we went on a boat ride, and we have a picture with Benjamin Franklin, so, right?
It took us 3 hours to get our nails done, but we definitely met like at a booth, I think probably in Vegas at the SLS booth before that, but we definitely bonded in Washington for sure.
And that was, I don't know, 5 years ago now?
5 years ago.
Wish them the best of luck, Steph.
I'm so excited for this. I mean, you guys are all incredible leaders in the industry and just amazing, especially in the topic of myopia, which is a lot of what the game show is going to be about. So are you guys ready to play?
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we're going to start with Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer. All right, so question number 1 is going to be worth 5 points, and we're going to start with Dr. Brujic.
Okay.
Question 1. What is your teammate's orthokeratology lens of choice?
Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think I'm going to have to go with the Euclid Emerald lens.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be Dave's lens of choice.
Okay. And now we are going to ask the same question to Dr. Kramer. What do you think Dr. Walker's orthokeratology lens of choice is?
I'm going to go with Paragon CRT.
Ooh.
Excellent. All right. So we can bring back Dr. Walker and Dr. Kading. All right, Dr. Kading, we're starting with you. What is your orthokeratology lens of choice? You specifically.
Euclid lenses.
Specifically, what else after Euclid? What design?
Like the specific Euclid Emerald design?
Oh, 5
Yes, Dave! Yes!
And Dr. Walker, what is your orthokeratology lens of choice?
Paragon CRT.
5 points! Awesome!
I know her.
All right, we're tied up and it's only round 1. So now we are going to move on to question number 2, and we're going to keep Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker in the room this time. All right. So question number 2 is worth 5 points. We're going to start with Dr. Walker. Please review this upcoming video and tell us what you think your teammate would say the problem is. All right, so Dr. Walker, you have 30 seconds to answer. What do you think Dr. Kramer would say the problem is?
Oh my gosh, this feels like a live exam of my own skills. Okay, I think that she would say that the return zone is too deep. That's what I think. Let's hope she thinks that.
Okay. And Dr. Kading, do you need to see the video again?
I do not.
Okay. What do you think Dr. Brujic would say the problem is?
I think he's going to say the same thing, and that the sagittal depth is too much. So return zone is too deep.
We'll find out. All right, Dr. Kramer and Dr. Brujic, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. So we'll start with Dr. Kramer. Please review this video and tell us what you think the problem is. All right, so Dr. Kramer, what would you say the problem is?
I would say that the lens seems to be decentered inferiorly a little bit.
Okay, let's see what Dr. Walker said. She said that the return zone is too deep, and she thought that's what you would say. All right, Dr. Brujic, what do you need to see the video again?
I do not.
Okay, and what would you say the problem is?
So I would hope that Dave would see this through my eyes. And what I'm seeing is that the way that I would describe it is the treatment zone doesn't seem to be large enough, or there doesn't seem to be enough pressure of the lens on the cornea.
So let's see what Dr. Kading said. He said sagittal depth is too much and the return zone is too deep.
Is the judge going to give that to us? If sagittal depth is too much, there's not enough pressure on the cornea.
I think it's the same thing.
I think it's the exact same thing, Dave.
Sounds like a reach.
Tomato.
Judges, what does the judge say?
Judges?
All right. I would say that this is accurate. 5 points.
Yes.
All right. So we're at 10 points for Brujic and Kading, 5 points, Kramer Walker. And now we're going to move on to question 3 with Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer. All right. Question number 3 is worth 5 points. We're going to start with Dr. Kramer. Dr. Kramer, if your teammate was not an optometrist, what would she be?
Oh, that is a tough one, but she would be definitely in research. So I would just say research.
Perfect. All right. Same question, Dr. Brujic. If Dr. Kading was not an optometrist, what would he be?
This is an easy one. So, Steph, I'll tell you that this actually used to be something that Dr. Kading used to do. And when I say this profession, you'll be like, oh yeah, I could picture him doing this because he has the voice for it and he also has the face for it as well too. It would be a radio DJ. So we'll say that he would be a radio DJ or just a DJ.
He definitely has the voice for it.
Yeah, he's got the voice.
He does. And he's got, his myopia myopia podcast. So I guess that makes sense. He's kind of like doing that already. So cool. All right. Well, let's bring back Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker and we will see what they have to say.
All right.
Welcome back, Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker. Dr. Walker, we are going to start with you. Question 3, it's worth 5 points. And we asked Dr. Kramer, if Dr. Walker was not an optometrist, what would she be?
Woo! Let's see. What would you think that I would be? That's the most important way to answer this question.
Yeah, you got to think of what they would say, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm gonna go like opposite end of the spectrum and say like a yoga teacher.
Oh,
That looks wrong. Let's
see what Dr. Kramer said. She said research.
That is what I do.
If we weren't an optometrist.
Dr. Kramer didn't understand the question. Can you repeat it?
It wasn't. He wasn't an optometrist.
Right.
All right. So, Dr. Kading, we asked Dr. Brujic, if Dr. Kading was not an optometrist, what would he be?
I have this weird thing that I think he thinks I'd be a politician.
Oh, let's see what Dr. Brujic said, because he was real confident in saying that you would be a radio DJ.
Pretty close, pretty similar.
I said the voice and the face for radio DJ.
No points awarded this round, but that was a super fun question.
I've already done that, so I don't need to do it again.
Oh, I shared with these guys. Oh.
All right, so Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kading are still in the lead at 10 points. Dr. Kramer, Dr. Walker, not far behind with 5 points. So we're going to move on to question number 4, and we're going to keep Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker in the room. So we will start with Dr. Kading. Question number 4 is worth 5 points. If your teammate's 9-year-old patient had a prescription of -5, -125, axis 180, what method of myopia management would they most likely be thinking about?
I think he would go with a soft multifocal toric.
Thank you. And Dr. Walker, do you need me to repeat the question?
No. I think, I was between that and another thing, so I'm going to go with the other thing. I think she would go with atropine.
Great. Let's bring back Dr. Kramer and Dr. Brujic, please. All right, welcome back. We are going to start with Dr. Kramer. And I'm going to read the question now, number 4. It's worth 5 points. Dr. Kramer, If you had a patient that had a prescription of -5, -125, axis 180, what method of myopia management would you most likely be thinking about?
Orthokeratology.
And let's see what Dr. Walker said. Atropine. There's no wrong answers. That's
I know.
Yeah, just answer it how you would do it. What you would do.
Dave, you better have answered this the right way.
All right, Dr. Brujic, do you need me to repeat the question?
I think I answered it the way you would do it.
I think for dramatic effect, I would like you to please repeat the question.
Excellent. All right, Dr. Brujic, if you have a 9-year-old patient and they have a prescription of -5, -125, axis 180, what method of myopia management are you most likely to be thinking about?
I hope he answers it the right way. I would like to select a multifocal, distance center, biofinity multifocal toric lens for this patient.
And let's see what Dr. Kading said. Soft multifocal toric.
Yes.
So excited.
Great job. So we've got team 1, Dr. Kading, Dr. Brujic in the lead with 15 points. Dr. Walker, Dr. Kramer, 5 points, but don't worry, the next questions are worth 10 points, so it's easy to catch up.
All right, let's do it. We can.
We
All
can.
right. So for the
I'm getting
next round,
competitive.
round 5, we're going to keep Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer in the room. Question number 5 is worth 10 points. Dr. Kramer, if your teammate's 28-year-old patient with a prescription of -8, -50, axis 179 in both eyes, and pachymetry of 575 microns, both eyes, what would your teammate say would be their refractive surgery option of choice?
I'm pretty sure she would say PRK.
And Dr. Brujic, do you need me to repeat the question?
I think I'm pretty sure on this one. And Steph, I am hoping that he says this. I'm going to go with standard LASIK.
Okay. Great. Can we please bring back Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker? Welcome back, Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker.
Ready.
I have no idea how nerve-wracking this is.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped sweating for the past 10 minutes.
My hands are so
No.
sweaty right now.
This is our round, Elise. This is our round.
This is it.
All right, Dr. Walker, we're going to start with you.
Oh, good.
Question number 5, which is worth 10 points. Okay, Dr. Walker, if you have a patient that's 28 years old with a prescription of -8, -50, axis 179 in both eyes, and pachymetry of 575 microns in both eyes, what would your refractive surgery option of choice be?
Well, I hope she knows that I don't know that much about all the new fancy options and that I would go old school with PRK because, yes.
And Dr. Kramer said that you would say PRK. Congratulations.
They're so
It's
excited.
all tied up now. It's all tied up. All right. And Dr. Kading, do you need me to repeat the question?
No.
So if that was your patient, what is your refractive surgery of choice?
No surgery, but if we have to go with one, I'll say PRK as well.
And let's see what Dr. Brujic said. Standard LASIK.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's okay.
So the game has shifted, and now we are all tied up. It's anyone's game at this point.
All right. I feel good about this, Lee.
All right. So question number 6 is also worth 10 points. And we are going to keep Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker in the room.
What did I say, Maria?
Things are turning around.
We predicted while we were away that
That's
I was
right.
going
We
to get
both
that one
laughed and he
wrong.
goes, I'm not going to get the next one. I said, I am going to get the next one. I can
There it was.
All right, Dr. Kading, we're going to start with you. Question 6 is worth 10 points. Which of these is going to be your teammate's favorite publication to read? Number 1, Review of Myopia Management. Number 2, AOA Focus. Number 3, Contact Lens Spectrum. Number 4, Eyes on Eye Care.
Well, all of those are fantastic publications, Dr. Wu. I think my teammate would be served to read any of those at length, and I'm sure he reads all of them with grave detail. But if he had to pick one of them, I'm going to say that he would pick Contact Lens Spectrum.
Thank you. And Dr. Walker, do you need me to repeat the question? Okay.
No.
So which one do you think Dr. Kramer would choose?
I am going to go with the same answer and say that she would go to Contact Lens Spectrum most readily.
Great. Let's bring back Dr. Kramer and Dr. Brujic. Welcome back, Dr. Kramer and Dr. Brujic. Are you ready to answer the next question?
I hope so. Don't disappoint me on the last one.
All right, Dr. Brujic, we're going to start with you. Question number 6, it is worth 10 points. Which out of these 4 publications would you say is your favorite to read? Number 1, Review of Myopia Management. Number 2, AOA Focus. Number 3, Contact Lens Spectrum. Or number 4, Eyes on Eye Care.
Oh, Davey, I hope you say this. I think I know what you're going to say, but I hope you say what I really am thinking. So first and foremost, they're all excellent. It's tough. Very tough to pick a winner, but I'd have to say, for me, I'm a tried and true guy, and I've kind of grown up with this publication. I'm going to say Contact Lens Spectrum.
And let's see what Dr. Kading said. Contact Lens Spectrum, 10 points. All right, and Dr. Kramer, do you need me to read the list again?
No, and I just want to say they're all great publications, but I would say Contact Lens Spectrum as well.
And let's see what Dr. Walker says. Contact Lens Spectrum, 10 points. All right. So we are still tied at 25 points for each team. So now we are moving on to question number 7 with Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer. We're going to start with Dr. Brujic.
Okay.
Question number 7, and this is worth 10 points. What do you think your teammate's biggest pet peeve of pediatric contact lens patients is?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How? You've stumped me a little bit on this one, Stephanie. Pet peeve of pediatric contact lens patients? The parents. I think
Right.
Dave will say the parents. And
Okay.
I have to clarify that. So Dave loves everything contact lenses, ocular surface, he's all in on this, and so much so that that's almost exclusively what he does. So any myopia progression management, anything that's being done in the practice. But I could see him potentially saying that the parents may be a little bit of an issue, because we've just kind of run a few cases amongst ourselves, and that's kind of always a little variable that's a little bit weird. So I hope he says parents.
Excellent. And Dr. Kramer, do you need me to repeat the question?
I'm going to go with application removal training.
Perfect. All right. Can we please bring back Dr. Walker and Dr. Kading? Welcome back, Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker. Are you guys ready for the next question?
We are, but Dr. Kramer's poker face is way better than Dr. Brujic's. Dr. Brujic's is like making me feel like this is going to be a really tough question. You better get it right, you idiot.
Wait till you hear the question. Oh, boy.
All right, Dr. Wu, make magic
Dr.
happen.
Kading, you are up. What is your biggest pet peeve of pediatric contact lens patients?
Well, it depends on how little. Like sometimes if they like pee in the chair, that's a big one. But
has that happened?
Yeah, that's
or puke in the chair. That's another one that's really rough. But that doesn't happen too often. I would probably say, what would Dr. Brujic say? Good thing I got a minute and a half to answer.
He came right down the wire for me.
Dr. Wu, would you please repeat the question?
Yeah, of course. What is your biggest pet peeve of pediatric contact lens patients?
Yeah, I think, well, here's the honest truth, is after you deal with pediatrics for a long time, I think your pet peeves become a little bit less. Within the realm of myopia management, I think it's the helicopter parent and the struggling around insertion removal, but particularly parents that are a little bit too overbearing.
Yes! And Dr. Brujic said parents.
I can't believe you got that, Dave!
10 points.
Yes.
Dave, stones! Woo!
All right, a chance to continue the tie.
Oh, gosh.
Dr. Walker, what is your biggest pet peeve of pediatric contact lens patients?
So now I was glad to go second, but now I'm not, because that was going to be my biggest pet peeve. But I feel like I cannot say the same thing. So I am going to go with kids who won't let you put contact lenses in their eye.
And Dr. Kramer said application and removal training.
That's the same thing.
That is the same thing. Application.
You said they won't let you put the lenses in the eye. That's different than them putting the lenses in the eye. But I'm not the judge, Dr. Wu.
I think it's the same, but I'm biased.
Well, I can see both sides of putting the lenses in the eye, which is technically application. But Dr. Kramer did say application removal training, which I think is very different than putting the lens in the eye. So I'm gonna say no.
Woo for judge.
Fair enough.
Don't worry, there's still plenty of chances to win the game. So we're going to move on to question number 8 with Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker. Let's start with Dr. Walker.
All right.
Dr. Walker, question number 8 is worth 10 points. If a patient has a corneal ulcer, what is your teammate's go-to antibiotic for most patients?
Ooh. And you want me to say specific, maybe. I think she is like a Bessie Vance person.
Great. And how about Dr. Kading? What do you think Dr. Brujic's go-to antibiotic would be for a corneal ulcer for most patients?
Have we cultured it?
Who's
No.
to say?
Let's say it's a bacteria.
No, in today's day and age, I think it's got to be Bessie Vance if we're just going antibiotic by itself. I'm not going to agree with you, Walker.
All right. So Bessie Vance for both. All right. Bring back Dr. Kramer and Dr. Brujic. Welcome back. We are on question number 8, which is worth 10 points. And we're going to start with Dr. Kramer. Dr. Kramer, if you have a patient that has a corneal ulcer, what is your go-to antibiotic for most patients?
Vigamox.
Vigamox? And let's see what Dr. Walker said. Bessie Vance.
I almost did say moxifloxacin, actually, though. I almost did.
She did.
And Dr. Brujic, what is your go-to antibiotic for most corneal ulcer patients?
Dave better get this right. Dave better get this right. It's the strongest antibiotic we have, sulfacetamide. No, just kidding. It is Vigamox. Dave, you better have said that.
And let's see what Dr. Kading said. Bessie Vance.
Oh, Dave!
You know, I was thinking Vigamox.
That was a tough
Both are
one.
good
That
choices,
was- yeah.
though.
There's so many right answers. And I mean, Vigamox and Bessie Vance are both excellent. Zymaxid, I mean, all of these things, incredible for
Sulfacetamide,
antibiotics.
cephalexin.
All right. So now we've got Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer for question number 9.
Are these
Question number 9. This is worth 15 points.
okay? It's the big time.
All right. Let's start with Dr. Walker. Or Dr. Kramer, sorry. Dr. Kramer, what would your teammates say is the biggest mistake most people make when trying to start a myopia management clinic?
Biggest mistake that people make. I would say investing in unnecessary equipment.
Dr. Wu, these are not easy questions. This is tough. You're trying to get in the brain of a crazy person. I mean, Dr. Kading, and that's so I think, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this. I think he's going to say that they don't start treatment early enough. Like they wait for treatment. So something along the lines of either not starting early enough or waiting too late to start. Because Dr. Kading is one that, again, treats very, very early because he knows the downstream ramifications of the potential long-term trajectory of getting these kids earlier. So I would say that either not treating early enough or starting treatment too late.
Got it. All right, let's bring back Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker.
Are we going to get this one?
Stop cheating.
These are tough. These are tough.
Cheating at all.
They're speaking to each other with their eyes.
How can I predict what a crazy person's going to answer? I mean, what?
All right, Dr. Kading, are you ready?
No, let's let Dr. Walker go first.
No.
All right, Dr.
If we have
Kading.
to.
Question number 9, worth 15 points.
What?
What would you say is the biggest mistake most people make when trying to start a myopia management clinic?
Oh, man. I know exactly what I would say, but what does Brujic think I would say? Yeah, got to go with what I would say. I really think, and this is certainly for educational purposes, is I really think that when people start, they don't go in hard enough, and they don't go all in, and they don't treat it as a disease. They're not as aggressive as they should be, and so they just kind of dabble a little bit. That's what I really think is the biggest cause for people not getting treatment.
So you're saying that people dabble in it, they don't, or just if you could clarify a bit more.
Yeah, they dabble. They don't go all in. They just do a little bit here and there, and they don't get aggressive enough on starting.
Okay. Dr. Brujic said, don't start treatment early enough. So I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about it.
Give it to us. I think we're gonna give it to us.
I'm gonna let me see what Dr. Walker says, and I'll report back. Dr. Walker, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is worth 15 points. What would you say is the biggest mistake most people make when trying to start a myopia management clinic?
Oh, again, yes. Getting in Elise, getting in my head. Let's see. Well, she thinks that I'm research oriented. Clearly. I suppose I am. So maybe
Talking. This is table talking right here.
maybe she thinks that I think that people don't have a good underlying understanding of the treatment methods and efficacies.
And let's see what Dr. Kramer said. Investing in unnecessary equipment.
Oh,
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh, this is a tough one.
It's funny because I was gonna say too, not knowing if you should get an axial length measurement, but what's done is done.
Yeah.
So I guess the way I took it when Dr. Brujic was explaining what he thinks you would say, the way I understood it is that the practitioner doesn't intervene early enough. So they're letting the patient get to a certain point of myopia and then starting treatment. That's how I interpreted his answer. And with Dr. Kading's answer, I interpreted it as doctors aren't doing myopia management enough, as far as they might do it on a handful of patients here and there. So
Agreed.
I don't think that those are
they wait long enough before they intervene, and they dabble, maybe this patient but not this patient, and they kind of wait too long.
Right.
Not
so I'm giving no points for this round.
You have been a just judge till this point. Every judge makes a mistake.
No, this has made you just.
Fair enough, but both of those are problems that people deal with and they struggle with.
We've got 35 points for Dr. Kading and Brujic, who are in the lead, and Dr. Walker and Dr. Kramer at 25 points. So let's do a bonus round that's going to be worth 20 points. So it's still anyone's game. So we'll keep Dr. Kading and Dr. Walker in for the bonus round. All right. Okay, Dr. Kading, we'll start with you. What do you think your partner would say? What percentage of children under 18 years old will be in some sort of myopia management protocol by the year 2030?
You want like an exact number, and you think that we're going to get the exact number that our teammate is thinking?
We're going to do it based off of who's closest. So if someone says 1% and the other one says 2%, and they're only 1% off. So it'll just be closest wins.
Would you please ask the question one more time?
Yes. What do you think your partner would say? What percentage of children under 18 years old will be in some sort of myopia management protocol by the year 2030?
I need to clarify, of myopes or of all children under 18?
Of myopes. I will clarify that when I ask.
What percentage of myopes under the age of
children
18 will be in some form of myopia management by the year of 2030?
Correct.
37%.
Okie dokie. And Dr. Walker, what would you say?
15%.
15%?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the bonus round. Okay. So the bonus question, you have to answer exactly how you think your partner would have answered. And we are going to have both of you guys answer, Dr. Brujic and Dr. Kramer, before we reveal what Dr. Walker and Dr. Kading have answered, if that makes sense.
So, is this how we would answer or how our partners would answer?
So it's going to be how you would answer, but instead of, showing what Dr. Kading said and then going back and then showing what Dr. Walker said, we're just going to have Dr. Kramer, Dr. Brujic answer now, and then we'll reveal what Dr. Walker and Dr. Kading said. Okay. So for 20 points, let's start with Dr. Brujic. And this is what you would say.
Okay.
What percentage of myopic children in the United States under 18 years old will be in some sort of myopia management protocol by the year 2030?
Oh, so this is of all the kids, of all the people under 18 that are myopic?
Correct. In the United States.
Oh, God. What's the leeway on the percentage?
You have to get the exact percentage that you think Dr. Kading said that you would say.
I'm going to say 25%.
Excellent. And Dr. Kramer, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how you will answer it. What percentage of myopic children in the United States under 18 years old will be in some sort of myopia management protocol by the year 2030?
2030 is in 8 years, 7 years. I would say 40%.
40%. All right. So let's review what Dr. Walker said. She said that she thought Dr. Kramer would say 15%. And Dr. Kading, you said that you thought Dr. Brujic would say 37%. So the closest is Dr. Kading and Dr. Brujic. So I'm awarding you 20 points. which makes you guys the winners of the Newly-Eyed game show. First ever Newly-Eyed event. All right. Well,
Good game, guys.
Good
Thank
game.
you. Thank you for participating, and congrats to everyone.